unbelievable, the condition of both men, but the Russian champion.
I must break you.
You told him I was going to throw a deuce, right?
Yep. Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
I can get open. You drop that damn thing again, Jack, your life is over. Just throw me the goddamn ball, Reno.
Hello, Retro Raiders. Get ready to feel the adrenaline, the heart, and the sheer grit of the 80s. In this video, in no particular order, I'm giving you 10 of my most motivational 80s sports movies that defined an era, a generation, and still inspire us today. From underdog stories to epic comebacks, these films aren't just about winning. They're about pushing limits, chasing dreams, and proving that anything is possible with enough heart and maybe a killer training montage. We're talking Rocky, Hoosiers, American Flyers, and more. Whether you're a sports fan, a movie buff, or just someone who loves a good dose of nostalgia, these classics will have you cheering, crying, and maybe even dusting off your old sneakers. So grab your popcorn, lace up your shoes, and join us as we relive the golden era of sports cinema.
Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop.
He scores! The Bulls lead 80s.
Girl, your hair's so nappy, Wilson couldn't pick it.
This is Max Headroom.
Are you kidding?
I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners.
Welcome to Hickory, Indiana, a town so small even the cows know everyone's business. It's 1951, and basketball isn't just a sport here. It's a way of life. Enter Coach Norman Dale.
First of all, let's be real friendly here, okay? My name is Norm.
Played by the legendary Gene Hackman. He's a man with a mysterious past, a no-nonsense attitude, and a whistle that could scare a drill sergeant. Coach Dale doesn't just want to win, he wants to teach these boys discipline, teamwork, and how to survive his death stares. But here's the kicker. Hickory High's basketball team has about as many players as a chess club. They're the ultimate underdogs, and the town's lack of enthusiasm does not help at all. Enter Jimmy, the town's recluse and basketball prodigy. Now, he's got a jump shot smoother than a Barry White love song, but he's been sitting on the bench brooding like a typical teenager. Coach Dale needs him, but Jimmy ain't interested at first.
I don't know if it'll make any change, but I figure it's time for me to start playing ball.
Once Jimmy joins the team, though, it's game on. Hickory starts winning, and the town's hopes begin to grow. They make it to the state championship, and it's truly David versus Goliath, except David's wearing high tops. Will they win? Will Jimmy save the day? Will Coach Dale finally crack a smile? It's not just about basketball. It's about community, resilience, and the power of believing in something bigger than yourself. Hoosiers is a love letter to the underdog in all of us. It reminds us that no matter how small you are, how many times you've been knocked down, or how many people doubt you, you can rise up and achieve greatness. And if that doesn't make it one of the best 80s sports movies, I don't know what does.
I bought 100 of these. One for every base I'm gonna steal. Excuse me, gotta take my first step toward the Hall of Fame.
The Cleveland Indians, well, they're called the Cleveland Guardians now, are a raging bunch of misfits, has-beens, and never-will-be's. Their new owner, Rachel Phelps, a former showgirl with a heart of ice, wants to move the team to Miami. But there's a catch. Attendance has to tank for her to break the lease. So what does she do? She assembles the worst team imaginable. Think the Bad News Bears, but with a little more mullets and fewer life lessons. Enter our heroes. Jake Taylor, the aging catcher with knees held together by duct tape and sheer willpower. Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn, a pitcher with a fastball faster than his parole officer. And Pedro Serrano, a power hitter who is likely to hit a home run as he is to sacrifice a live chicken to Jobu for better luck. Oh, and let's not forget Willie Mays Hayes, the speedster who is basically Usain Bolt in cleats. Together, they're less a baseball team and more of a walking disaster movie. This motley crew doesn't just suck, they know they suck. And when they find out about Rachel's evil plan, they decide to do the unthinkable. Win. Not just for pride, not just for Cleveland, but to stick it to the woman who thought they were expendable. Cue the training montages, the slow claps, and the kind of camaraderie that make you want to high-five a stranger in the stands. And then there's the climax. The Indians face off against the New York Yankees in a winner-take-all game that's so tense, you'll be on the edge of your seat even if you already know how this movie ends. Though it is about trying to secure the victory, it's as equally about the journey to this point. It's about proving that even when the odds are stacked against you, you can still come out on top. And isn't that what sports and life are all about? So how did Major League make my list? It's a movie about redemption, resilience, and the sheer joy of proving everyone wrong wrapped in baseball games. Plus, hey, it's got Bob Uecker as the announcer, and that's worth the price of admission alone.
God, sucker teed off in that like he knew I was gonna throw a fastball.
He did know.
How?
I told him.
Meet Crash Davis. He's a career minor leaguer with a swing as smooth as his pickup lines. Played by the one and only Kevin Costner, who could actually make reading a phone book sound poetic. Crash is the wise, weathered catcher who's seen it all. And by it all, I mean bad bus rides, the worst motels, and more strikeouts than he'd care to admit. Now enter Newt, the rookie pitcher with $1 million arm but a 5-cent head.
A fastball hitter, he's looking for heat.
Oh yeah? So what? He ain't seen my heat.
All right, mate. Give him your heat.
Tim Robbins plays Newt with the perfect mix of arrogance and cluelessness. He's got the talent to make it to the big leagues, but he's about as refined as a bull in a china shop. And that's where Crash comes in, assigned to babysit this human tornado and teach him the ways of the game. Oh, now enter Annie, played by the legendary Susan Sarandon.
How dare you tell me to stay out of my bed? You are messing with my private life.
Annie is a baseball groupie with a PhD in life, love, and the art of seduction. Every season, she picks one player to quote-unquote enlighten, both on and off the field. The life of a 304. If you know, you know. This year, it's Nuke, or is it Crash, or I don't know. What follows is a hilarious, heartfelt, and occasionally steamy tale of mentorship, rivalry, and romance. Crash schools Nuke on the finer points of baseball, like not shaking off his catcher's signs or wearing a garter belt on the mound. Meanwhile, Annie tries to figure out if she's in love with the rookie, the veteran, or just the game itself. Of course, it's also about love. Not the fairy tale kind, but the messy, real-world, complicated, gritty kind. Crash and Annie's chemistry is electric. They're two people who've been around the block enough times to know better, but still can't help falling for each other. Bull Durham makes this list because it's a straight-up movie about life with baseball as the backdrop. It's about chasing dreams even when they seem out of reach. It's about finding your tribe, whether that's on the field or in the stands. And it's about the beauty of the game, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the feeling that just for a moment, anything is possible.
U-G-L-Y-N, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. What? You ugly. Your mama says you ugly, hey!
So here's Molly McGrath, played by the incomparable Goldie Hawn. She's a high school track coach with a dream. She wants to be a football coach. But in the 80s, that's like saying you want to teach a fish to ride a bike. The world isn't ready for a woman on the gridiron, but Molly, she's ready to tackle the patriarchy head on. When she lands a job coaching the Central High Willdcats, a team so bad they make losing look like an art form, she's got her work cut out for her. And by work, I mean dealing with a team of misfits, a rival coach who's basically the human embodiment of a participation trophy, and a school that's about as supportive as a wet paper bag. Now, what makes Wildcats stand out isn't just the premise, it's the heart. Sure, it's got the classic 80s sports movie tropes, the ragtag team, the inspirational speeches, and enough sweatbands to appear in a Jane Fonda workout video. But it's also got something deeper. Molly isn't just fighting for wins, she's fighting for her respect.
All right then, get out there and get tough. Get mean. These Cougars will be nothing but a fur ball when we get done with them.
Let's go eat some pussy.
And her team, they're not just players. They're a reflection of the struggles and dreams of every kid who's ever been told they're not good enough. From the street-smart quarterback to the shy kid with a cannon for an arm, these characters feel real. They'll make you laugh, you'll cry, and you'll probably want to give them all a hug. Of course, it all leads to the big game, right? And without spoiling too much, let's just say it's a showdown for the ages. The Wildcats face their rivals, the Cobras, in a game that's less about touchdowns and more about redemption. It's got everything: last-minute plays, emotional breakthroughs, and a crowd that's louder than a jet engine. And through it all, Molly proves that coaching isn't about gender, it's about heart, grit, and the ability to inspire. Wildcats makes the cut because, yeah, it's about football, but it's just as much about breaking barriers, finding your voice, and proving that you belong, no matter who you are or where you come from. It's got heart, humor, and a message that still resonates today. I mean, plus, it's got Goldie Hawn and shoulder pads. I mean, what more could you want? So Scott starts the movie as a nobody. He's got a crush on the popular girl, Pamela, who's clicked unsubscribe on the interest channel. And his team, the Beavers, is a laughingstock. But then, bam, he discovers his inner wolf. No, seriously, his inner wolf. Suddenly, he's got confidence, killer moves on the court, and a fan club called the Wolf Pack. But as Scott learns, being the center of attention isn't all it's howled up to be. Yes, I said howled up. I regret nothing. At its core, Teen Wolf is about embracing who you are, even if that person isn't a furry basketball phenom. It's about friendship, loyalty, and the importance of not letting your ego grow as big as your hair. And let's not forget the life lessons. 1, always trust your best friend, especially if they're named Styles and have a knack for sarcasm. 2, surfing on top of a van is a terrible idea, but it looks really cool. And 3, if you're going to turn into a werewolf, make sure it's during basketball season. Teen Wolf makes my list because it has passion, a certain teenage innocence that seems long gone in the world, and a werewolf who can do a 360 dunk. It's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but still manages to deliver a message that sticks. Plus, it gave us Michael J. Fox in his prime, and a soundtrack that was pretty dope. Teen Wolf is a reminder that the best way to win in the long run is just to be yourself. Whether you're a wolf, a beaver, or a kid trying to survive high school, or life, for that matter.
Oh yeah, I can see you, Dr. Death. You better watch out, Dr. Death. I'm pretty damn fast for a Caucasian.
Jack Dundee, played by one of the greatest actors ever to be placed on Earth, Robin Williams, is a lovable but perpetually anxious banker in Taft, California, a town so small the local diner probably knows your order before you do. Jack's haunted by one moment from his past, a high school football game where he dropped the game-winning pass. Fast forward 13 years, and he's still replaying that moment in his head like a broken VCR. Now enter Reno Hightower, his best friend and former quarterback of said team, played by Kurt Russell, who's basically the coolest guy in town, but is now stuck fixing cars and dodging his wife, who apparently now wants to be his ex-wife. Jack has a wild idea. Let's replay the game. Yes, you heard that right. He wants to get the old team back together, challenge their rivals, who is Bakersfield High, and rewrite history. Because nothing says midlife crisis like reliving your high school glory days, am I right? What follows is a hilarious, heartfelt, and slightly absurd journey of redemption. The team is a motley crew of has-beens and never-weres, but they've got heart, and a surprising amount of knee braces. The movie balances slapstick humor with genuine emotion, reminding us that it's never too late to chase a dream, or at least to try not to embarrass yourself in front of your entire town. And then comes the big game. It's a nail-biter, a tearjerker, and a fist pumper all rolled into one. The film reminds us that winning isn't always about the scoreboard. It's about facing your fears, mending relationships, and maybe, just maybe, catching the damn ball. The Best of Time teaches us that no matter what hardships or failures you had to endure, success can be right around the corner. It's Robin Williams at his most endearing, Kurt Russell at his most effortlessly cool, and a story that hits you right in the feels, like a perfectly thrown Hail Mary. Plus, it's got that quintessential 80s charm, a little cheesy, a lot of heartfelt moments, and 100% unforgettable.
Where's Summers? Where's the other one? Marcus, I taught you that move! We got us a race, Muzzin!
Here's Marcus, played by the effortlessly cool Kevin Costner. Yes, before he was Dancing with Wolves or pitching no-hitters in Iowa. Marcus is a former cycling champ turned sports doctor haunted by the genetic time bomb lurking in his family, a condition that could strike him or his younger brother David at any moment. David is played by David Marshall Grant, the scrappy underdog with a chip on his shoulder and a need to prove himself. Together, they're like the odd couple of cycling, one brooding, one brash, but both bound by blood, bikes, and a whole lot of baggage. Now it's time for the Hell of the West, a grueling cycling race that makes the Tour de France look like a leisurely Sunday stroll. Marcus convinces David to train for it, not just for glory, but to test their limits, and maybe, just maybe, outrun their family's curse. Cue the training montage. You know the drill. Sweat glistening in slow motion, legs pumping like pistons, and a soundtrack that makes you just want to run through a brick wall. It's the 80s, baby! Subtlety is for quitters. American Flyers is a full-course meal of drama. There's sibling rivalry, unspoken love, and a villainous cyclist who's so smug, you'll want to throw your popcorn at the screen.
Is that why you're boycotting the victory ceremony?
What victory? There's 2 stages left.
Still, the fact remains.
But you wouldn't know a fact if it begged you all night long!
And let's not forget the emotional gut punch, the looming specter of their family's illness, which ups your anxiety 1,000 notches. In the end, it's not just about who crosses the finish line first. It's about what they've overcome to get there. The race is a metaphor for life, grueling, unpredictable, and occasionally downhill. And when the brothers finally face their fears, both on and off the bike, it's a moment so satisfying you'll want to stand up and cheer, or at least dust off your old mongoose and take it for a spin. American Flyers makes the cut because it's really not just about the cycling, it's about the people behind the pedals. And in true 80s fashion, it reminds us that no matter how steep the climb, the view from the top is always worth it.
So you okay? Can you go on? Get him a body bag! Yeah! All right. Feet. Do it again, Johnny. Warning.
Now this one is about our awkward teen named Daniel LaRusso, a scrawny New Jersey kid who moves to sunny California with his mom, only to find himself in the crosshairs of Johnny Lawrence, the blonde-haired Cobra Kai-wielding bully who probably spends his weekends bench pressing his own ego. Daniel's life is an absolute mess. He's the new kid, he's catching them hands from Johnny and his crew on a regular, and let's be real, his fashion sense is stuck somewhere between mom's basement and I just give up. But don't count him out just yet, because here comes Mr. Miyagi, the pint-sized, wisecracking, bonsai trimming, wax-on, wax-off sensei who's about to change Daniel's whole life forever. Mr. Miyagi is a karate master, a life coach, a handyman, and the kind of guy that can catch a fly with chopsticks while simultaneously dropping wisdom bombs like,
Man who catch fly with chopstick accomplish anything.
Under his tutelage, Daniel doesn't just learn karate, he learns discipline, respect, and how to wax a car so well it could blind a bald eagle. But it's not all smooth sailing. There are setbacks, heartbreaks, and a whole lot of "why am I painting your fence, Miyagi?" moments. Spoiler alert, it's not just about the fence. Fast forward to the All-Valley Karate Tournament, the Super Bowl of teenage karate. Daniel's facing off against Johnny and the rest of the Cobra Kai crew, who fight dirtier than a mud wrestling competition. But Daniel's got something they don't, The crane kick. Yeah, you all know the one. It's the move that's been imitated in backyards and school gyms for decades. And when Daniel lands it, chef's kiss. Victory never looked so sweet. It shouldn't be difficult to see why The Karate Kid is one of the best 80s sports movies, though. It's not just about the karate, though let's be real, the fight scenes are epic. It's about the character of a person and the heart of a true champion. It's about the underdog rising up, the mentor-student bond, and the idea that sometimes the best way to fight back is to find balance both on and off the mat. Plus, it gave us one of the most memorable quote lines in movie history.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
This movie is a reminder that when life kicks you in the face, literally, you can get back up, dust yourself off, and deliver a crane kick to your problems. So the next time you're feeling down, just remember, wax on, wax off, and always aim for the all-valley glory.
I've never seen Apollo take so much punishment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rocky IV, the movie that took the Cold War, wrapped it in neon spandex, and turned it into one of the greatest sports films of the 80s, or as I like to call it, America versus USSR, the musical. Rocky Balboa, everyone's favorite underdog turned champ, is living the good life. He's got the fame, the fortune, and the ability to wear sweatpants to formal events. But then, tragedy strikes. His best friend and former rival, Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers, who somehow made a man in sequin shorts look intimidating, decides to fight Ivan Drago, a Soviet Union super soldier who looks like he was genetically engineered in a lab to bench press small cars. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for Apollo. Cue the slow motion death scene and the most dramatic use of living in America in cinematic history. So now Drago, the villain we all love to hate, he's not just a boxer, he's a metaphor for the entire Soviet Union. He's cold, he's robotic, and he delivers one of the most iconic lines in sports movie history.
He appears to be in very serious condition.
Is the man alive?
If he dies, he dies.
Brutal. But don't worry, Rocky's not about to let that slide. Cue the training montage to end all training montages. While Drago is busy getting juiced up on futuristic Soviet science, Rocky goes full caveman. He trades his high-tech gym for a rustic barn in the middle of Siberia because nothing says I'm ready to fight like chopping wood and herding goats. And let's not forget the piece de resistance. Rocky running up a mountain in the snow. It's the most 80s thing ever, and it's glorious. The final fight is a masterpiece of over-the-top 80s cinema. Rocky isn't just fighting for himself, he's fighting for Apollo, America, and for the right to wear red, white, and blue trunks without irony. By the end, even Drago's robotic heart seems to thaw a little. Maybe? I don't know. And then, in true Rocky fashion, he caps it all off with a speech about peace and understanding.
If I can change,
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился сегодня.
and you can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Каждый может измениться.
But why did Rocky make the list? Because every Rocky movie is about the underdog overcoming obstacles, even when Rocky was the champ. Picture that.
Can't go with what you are. Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win.
With this movie in particular, at the time it was released, it was a giant metaphor about standing up to and conquering your enemy, no matter how undefeatable they may look. And if you don't agree with me, well, if you die, you die. I kid.
Hey, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa, places they can't even fathom.
This story begins with Ray, a farmer with a midlife crisis and a voice in his head. No, not that kind of voice. This one whispers,
if you build it, he will come.
The it, by the way, is a baseball field, and by he, well, let's just say it's not the ice cream man. So what does Ray do? He plows under his corn, builds a diamond, and waits for he to come. Because, you know, that's what any rational person would do. So up pops shoeless Joe Jackson along with a parade of baseball legends who are quite unalive. This isn't just a game of catch with Casper the Friendly Ghost. This here is a multi-layered onion of a movie. It's got drama, it's got heart, and it's got James Earl Jones delivering monologues so powerful they could make a grown man cry. Well, at the very least, reconsider his life choices. Jones plays Terrence Mann, a reclusive writer who gets roped into Ray's wild goose chase. Together they embark on a road trip that's part spiritual journey and part buddy comedy, but it's 100% proof that the universe has a sense of humor. Along the way, they pick up Moonlight Graham, a doctor who once played a single inning in the majors. And yes, his story just might make you weep into your popcorn. And then there's the ending. Now let's keep it 100. If you don't get a little misty-eyed when Ray finally plays catch with, well, just in case you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. But if that scene doesn't pluck your heartstrings, you might be a full-on robot. FOD makes this list because it uses baseball as a segue to believing in the impossible, listening to the voices in your head, within reason, and understanding that sometimes the most important games aren't played on the field, they're played in your heart. So now who else wants to build Yankee Stadium in their backyard? And there it is. 10 of my favorite motivational sports movies of the 80s. What did you think? Did you agree with the choices? Did I leave something off? I'm sure I left something off because there are just so many fantastic movies to pick from. Tell me your favorite down in the comments and let's see if others agree with you. Once again, family, thank you for taking this journey with me. And as always, you know what to do. Love you, love somebody else, and I will see you really soon.